As the eyes of Kenyans were fixed on Jackie Maribe and the Monica Kimani murder trial, a very vicious political battle was unfolding in Migori County. Now, Migori County has always belonged to Governor Okoth Obado. He's the one who calls the shots, including the political shots. Bottom line, if Okoth Obado is not on your corner, you're not winning any political seat in Migori. And that's how it has been since 2013. Even the mighty ODM party has not been able to do much in Migori. Yeah? Not even the big name of Raila Odinga has seemed to carry any weight in Migori County. This county has been the rogue county for the ODM political party, which dominates that particular part of the country, Nyanza. And going by the election results, of which Ochilo Ayako won the senatorial by-election of Migori County by garnering 85,000 votes to his nearest opponent's 60,000, then there's one thing we can say very, very clearly, that had one factor not changed, this was a seat ODM would have lost yet again. Before I tell you what factor that is, let's try and look deeper into Migori and see why it is so complicated for the ODM party. Now, for starters, this is the most cosmopolitan county in the whole of Luo Nyanza. It has a very sizable population of the Somali community, and this is one of the reasons why Suna East legislator Junaid Mohammed has been able to have such a stranglehold over that constituency seat. Then there's the fact that Migori borders Tanzania, and this is one of the busiest border crossings with Tanzania, and therefore this has attracted businessmen and businesswomen from all over Kenya. Then there's a substantial Maragoli community. The Maragoli are a sub-tribe of the Luya community. And many of these Maragoli people are actually based in Uriri. Uriri is where Governor Okoth Obado comes from. Then there's Okoth Obado's brand of politics, which heavily relies on violence and intimidation. Now, the very mention of violence in politics makes many Kenyans sick. However, the truth of the matter is that violence is an acceptable political strategy in Kenya, whether we like it or not. A number of years ago, I did a feature in my Kumekucha blog where I listed how effective violence is in politics, especially in winning elections. I've put a link to that particular article in the description area of this video. I suggest you go and read it. You'll learn a lot about how dirty politicians use violence to win elections. But if I can just quickly summarize the whole article, the whole thing is this. You may have very well thought out political views and very strong views. However, all those political inclinations and views fly out of the window the minute you're threatened, and your loved ones as well. Your family and yourself are threatened and your safety is threatened. Then most people will tend to vote for peace. Most people will tend to vote for their personal security and nothing else. That's just human nature, and that's just the truth. Then for the ODM party, there's what I can call the Kuria complication. Now, the Kuria community are based in Migori. In fact, they dominate 2 whole constituencies within Migori County. That is Kuria East and Kuria West. And you see, Raila Odinga owes the Kuria people a debt. There was a pre-election agreement in 2013 whereby it was agreed that the senatorial seat for Migori would always go to the Kuria community. Well, as you know, politics is fluid, things happen, and so ODM were forced to renege on that agreement with the Kuria, and the Kuria have never forgiven the ODM political party, and so the community will always vote against ODM, almost to a man. Now, when you put all these factors together, then it becomes very clear that Migori is one county where ODM can never have a walk in the park. Now, there are those political analysts within Migori who have assured me, had Okoth Obado been on the ground, not in police custody, the ODM party would have recorded yet another defeat in Migori in the hands of Okoth Obado. I'm also very reliably informed, that the person who was vying against Ochilo Ayako, a political rookie, a very young man, 27 years old, called Eddie Okech, received substantial financial backing from Deputy President William Ruto. Now, here's one thing that most Kenyans don't know. One of the key strategies of DP William Ruto is to use young people, to get young people into elective posts. And, he stands as a mentor to these young people. It doesn't matter what political party they belong to. And therefore, when push comes to shove, and these young people have been successfully elected, they will always back DP William Ruto. That is one reason why those who understand Kenyan politics at the grassroots level fear DP William Ruto and the kind of influence he wields right across the country. It may not be very visible, but it's certainly there. And so even with Obado behind bars, ODM was set to lose this one. Only one factor, and one factor alone, won this senatorial seat for ODM. One factor made the difference. And that factor was the late Sharon Otieno and how she died in such a brutal manner, together with her unborn child. In many constituencies across the country, women hold sway. They're the majority of the voters. And this is why I've always wondered why women cannot go above their jealousies, their jealousy of each other, and elect more women into various posts. Women politicians are not always clean, but give me a woman politician any day rather than a man. Indeed, apart from my personal preference, the track record of women politicians in Kenya speaks for itself. They have tended to represent better, the feelings of the people on the ground. They have tended to be better leaders. Anyway, this Sharon Otieno factor is what influenced a vast majority of voters in Migori County, and ended up giving Ochilo Ayako the edge. And for those who are following the campaigns closely, the Ochilo Ayako campaign team used this very well, because they kept on mentioning Kodero Forest. That was the forest where the remains of the late Sharon Otieno were found. So they kept on putting the question to voters, do you want to vote for us or do you want to vote for those forest people? The insinuation was very clear and the voters got it, especially the women voters. And to make matters worse for the Obado camp, Obado is the kind of politician who has always been associated with violence. And so you're a woman, you're going to vote. Yes, you don't like the ODM party. Yes, you don't like Ochilo Ayako. But then the image of a brutally murdered woman cannot leave your mind. The image of a very innocent unborn child brutalized cannot leave your mind. Now, there are those who insist that the last-minute campaign, because Raila Odinga was on the ground, and he came into the ground last minute. There are those who insist that his influence, and his personal charisma is what won the election for Ochilo Ayako. I don't agree. I don't agree because the Kuria people can never change their mind. They were conned as far as they're concerned. And they can never change their minds. The voters whom Obado has poisoned over the years against Raila Odinga, very difficult to sway those people back into ODM and Raila Odinga. Indeed, a close observation of the rallies Raila Odinga had in Migori displayed only lukewarm support for Raila Odinga. Definitely not the kind of warmth that Raila Odinga would have had in other constituencies within Luo Nyanza. Indeed, not the kind of warmth Raila Odinga enjoys in other parts of the country very far away from Luo Nyanza. You could sense, the people's hearts were not all in it. And therefore, it came down to a dead woman who won the seat for Chilo Ayako, the late Sharon Otieno. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.